We have 1 week to the Masters, the first major of the year, but do not sleep on the Valero Texas Open this week. It is a great week to rack up tickets, get your bankroll built up, maybe play some cash games, things like that. I got you covered with the 555 podcast brought to you by DFS Army for the Valero Texas Open right now. What up, everybody? It's your boy DFS Up North, aka Josh Thomas here with another 555 podcast where we talk about my 5 favorite plays, my 5 favorite punts, and 5 key stats for the week. And this week we are at the Valero Texas Open in San Antonio. Let's go this week, everybody. We are in San Antonio. All right. This is the last week before the Masters. Great week, like I said in the intro, to stack up some tickets. Look for satellites. Look for things like that. You know where actually the greatest, the best place to rack up tickets is things like baseball, right? Use the satellites there. Whatever, you're a DFS Army subscriber, baseball has been killing it. I saw Raz took home another 10K the other day, right? Baseball, NASCAR on Sunday. Great opportunities to rack up some tickets and get into some higher dollar contests that maybe you normally wouldn't play in. It's a great week for that, but you can do it in DFS too. I love it for 4-day. I love it for Showdown, and we got you covered for all that. If you're not a DFS Army subscriber, you can use that code UPNORTH, 10% off for life. But we are here today to talk about the Valero Texas Open, and like I said, the 555 model that we have here for this podcast, where I give you 5 key stats or narratives for the week, key things to watch, things to look for each course, 5 favorite plays on DraftKings and Fanduel, and then my 5 low-owned GPP punts. And we kind of smashed last week, right? Obviously did not have Jagger listed in here, but a guy that we were fairly high on. We knew that, his price tag in the mid eights was solid, but had Scheffler, another Swede, Noren. Geiserman was listed in the punt section as well as Sam Bennett, who played decent on the weekend, making a paycheck here for ya boy. So let's get into it. And the 5 key stats or things that we need to talk about this week, right? So not only are they just stats, but narratives as well, or things that are going on in the greater world of golf that are going to possibly affect your lineups this week. And it is a major season. It is crazy how fast this kind of comes at us and hits us here. We've got Augusta next weekend, the PGA in May, US Open in June, and then all of a sudden, boom, early July, we're playing the British Open, or the Open Championship, sorry, for my friends from overseas. And it kind of comes at you fast and furious here, and we have to be ready for it. But the question is, how focused are the studs here? Are they just trying to get prep in, or are they, actually trying to win? And here's the thing. What I believe is that is very, very, very hard to quantify unless somebody comes out and says, hey, like I am focused on Augusta. I am getting ready for that. The reality is that these guys are here to play and win. Right now, I think there might be something to be said if, somebody has a bad Thursday. Do they go out and play their hardest on Friday, try to make the weekend? It depends on the player, but that's not something that we can quantify, or we don't see into the future either. So the idea that we can sort of be like, oh, Hideki's not going to be focused this week, even if historically he has struggled in the weeks before majors, that means nothing, right? That is noise. All right, that is not a signal. Okay. Or Rory's not focused. He's just, using this week to get ready. Well, again, if we want to look at statistics here, he's actually done pretty well at that time. So again, it's hard to decipher the signal for the noise, because things like, hey, how focused are the studs is a really good talking point for people who are, trying to get clicks and trying to get you to watch their videos. And I can't, in my right mind, like even in a free video, like I can't get on board with that. So, if people are teaming up this week, they're here to play. All right. Tight fairways. So driving accuracy is about 9% lower here. All right. So that might make you or lead you to believe that we need to focus on guys who just hit fairways. And the reality is, though, weirdly enough, that the scoring average from the rough is better than the fairway here, which means that this is sort of a grip it and rip it type of course. You can get the further you can get it down towards the hole, the better. So it's not that's not to say that hitting the fairways isn't good, right? Obviously, you can create more spin, you can do all those things, but it's not the end all be all if a guy is not super accurate off the tee. All right. Now, long and accurate, great combo here. All right. Next one, long irons. The guys will have about twice as many 250 plus yard shots into greens. That's a really, really hard stat to really quantify or to look at, right? Because they hit so few of those shots to begin with. We're probably talking about, 2 to 3 more, but you can look at long par 3 scoring, things like that, if you wanted to break it down. All right. One thing that we can do, though, is quantify by hard courses. So within the DFS Army research station, which if you are not a DFS Army subscriber, you are missing out. Let me slide this up here. Where are we at here? Use that code up north, 10% off VIP membership for life. All right. But we have what's called the hard course field rank, which tells you how off or what percentage of the field a player beats on average on class courses that we quantify as hard. All right. And really that just does like based on average, like if you're a stroke harder than average, then you're probably in the hard courses. Really, we have about 60 some courses in there. And then we just quantify by, this many are considered easy, this many are considered average, this many are considered hard. But TPC San Antonio, because that was very Minnesota to me, is one of the harder courses that we have in our database. And interestingly, a guy who's been playing really good golf lately, only beats about 54% of the field in what we consider hard course events, and that is Billy Horschel. So maybe something to think about this week. And then finally, this is a ball striker's paradise, right? Corey Connors, the consummate ball striker, has won here twice in the last 3 years or in the last couple of years. And the guy who leads the field in strokes gained approach over the last 50 rounds, which I think is a very good sample size, right? If you want to try to dial it down more by like 12 or 24, again, how do I get in the camera? There we go. Use that code up north. You can get you access to the research station. But Lucas Glover leads the field over the last 50 rounds, and he's pretty cheap this week. So definitely somebody to be interested in here. Now it's time to talk about my 5 favorite plays this week. I'm going to give you my 5 favorite. If you have somebody that you love this week, make the case for him in the comments here. I say this on my showdown videos all the time, that I learn a lot from you guys too. I mean, not the guy who's like, oh, this guy again. All right, buddy. I mean, I appreciate it. You're giving me clicks, so whatever. And that's how we get paid, baby. But yeah, tell me who you like this week. My 5 guys, starting off the bat with Hideki Matsuyama. Guy's just been on absolute fire lately. Great course history here. Like he can absolutely. Oh, let me make sure I'm not being crazy on that. But yeah, Decky, elite ball striker, very, very good around the green. So that's another thing that we didn't talk about in the stat section was that, they green and regulation percentage is fairly low as well. So if you're going to miss greens here, which everybody's going to do, about 50% of the field is going to, or you're going to miss it about 50% of the clip, you have to be good around the greens. Not many better than Hideki with a wedge in his hand. Rory's way priced up this week, so we get Decky at I would argue a little bit lower ownership than he should. Weirdly, 3rd in odds despite being priced above him. But Ludwig Ebert is 11-1, whereas Decky is 19-1. And it's I'm in. Yeah, I forgot I looked. But 15 WD, which is always a risk with Hideki, and 30th here. I'm very, very high on Decky this week. And then we're going to go next with a guy that was a core play for us last week and another outstanding play here. 15th year last year, Alex Noren coming in on the back of 3 straight top 20 finishes, going all the way back to, I'm trying to see, where are we at here? The Bermuda Championship, where he was 2nd last year, and expand my research station a little bit. See, the last time he missed a cut was, oh boy, what is this? FC. What's FC stand for? I'm trying to think. Zozo Fortinet Championship way in the fall last year. And so in that time, he's just been absolutely outstanding. Great driver of the golf ball. Does a lot of things well here. Again, he's long enough off the tee and does not, he and hits a ton of fairways. Great field rank percentage. Good on par 72s. Ball striking's been great. Short game's awesome. Super high on Noren. back to the well with the guy that we talked about here a couple of weeks ago, and Christian Bezuidenhout. Played really well at the Valspar. This is the type of course that I think that he can win at $7,900 at. I'm not going to talk a ton about him because he's one of my favorite plays this week, and I don't want to give it all away. All right. Matthew Fitzpatrick, another guy that I think is at that $9,700 price point is going to go very under-owned. And here's the thing with these next two guys. All right. I get very much into a sort of a rhythm with these players and it feels like I'm maybe touting them all the time. And I know I am, but when guys are just really good ball strikers who can have spike putting weeks, like a Fitzpatrick, like an Aaron Rye, who's listed next, those are the guys that pay off in DFS. All right. And especially when they're going to be under-owned. We saw it with Rye last week. What a great performance by him coming in on Sunday, smashed. All right. I think that we could see something similar from Fitz here this week. I think a top 10 is absolutely in the cards here, which he needs at that price point. So I do like Fitz, even though he's making a debut. And then Aaron Rye, right? Another guy coming in on some outstanding form, really been playing well. And then, you throw in the fact that he's got some pretty impressive course history here as well with back-to-back top 30s. Just makes a lot of sense as a really strong, I think, odds value in that price range, along with Christian Bezuidenhout. And you can build a pretty successful lineup. Let me see here on my phone with just those 5 guys, right? Let's see what we get here. Let's see what we have left, because I think what's going to end up happening here is, if my math is correct in my head, is that we are going to have to play a cheap punt with this lineup. So let's see what we have left. Ooh, we might not make it. We might not make it. You might have to sacrifice somebody or have a really cheap year. Bezuidenhout. Ooh, Rye. No, I'm not going to make it with those 5. So you'd have to sacrifice somebody. I would probably sacrifice Fitz. That gets me to 7,500. And then you can play one of these guys on the next page, because the 6K range this week, you guys, is absolutely freaking loaded. How do I go to the next page? If this does this to me again, because I literally set this up 5 pages. Why is it doing this to me? Every time we do this video, maybe I just need to add a page at the end. But every time we do this, every time it does this to me. All right, now we're ready. So the 6K range, like I was saying, is absolutely rocking this week. I'm super high on it. And for me, it starts with Max Grazerman, who top 10 last week for the first time. I just really like this guy's game. I think he's going to pop off and win here. In this field, probably not. But I think that another top 20 finish at 6,500, 85 on Fanduel makes a ton of sense. Lee Hodges, another guy who's been playing some really solid golf as of late and is cheap down here. Given what he's done lately, I think that Lee Hodges makes a ton of sense. He's coming in off of 26, 35, 12, miscut. And then 6th year last year, 91. Why is Davis Thompson's odds so good? That's weird. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here, but like Davis Thompson at 70, opening at 74, that makes no sense to me. Is there something I'm missing on Davis Thompson this week? Like, I think he's a good play. He's long. He's a good ball striker. He can't putt. I mean, he's kind of my guy, right? But yeah, Lee Hodges, another good value down there. Yo Hisatsuni, my boy Yo in the Masters. Gonna like him a lot next week. T33 at the Valspar. Miscut at the Players, but was 18th in Puerto Rico. Makes a ton of sense down there. And then Seamus Power, whose game is really starting to come around. We saw it again last week. If he can put 4 rounds together, he's going to be in good shape. And then finally, Mr. Valero Texas Open himself. Nobody has made more money here over the years than actually maybe Corey Connors has now. Connors might have beat him last week when he won here twice, but Charlie Hoffman cashes big checks here every single week. You got to have a little bit of Chucky Hoffman in your lineups. Another guy that has great history here, but I'm not in love with this week is Matt Kuchar, right? 3rd last year, 2nd year before, 7th a couple of years before that. I don't love Kuchar's overall game coming in off of like a bunch of miscuts and just sort of like poor finishes, though you could say the same for Charlie Hoffman. But yeah, he's been runner up here twice, 22nd here last year when his game was kind of in trashy shape. But Hoffman again just needs a good putting round or two to be in the mix. We do get the 5K guys again this week. We will not next week. But there's just not as much value down here. Like Jorge Campillo, Nick Hardy, Kevin Chappell. Those are maybe like the lowest I'm willing to go down here. I think you could play Padre Harrington. Coming off missed cuts, but he does have a 10th here last year. Granted, he was playing a little bit better here last year too. So that is what I got for you guys this week. I hope that this was helpful. Again, let me know who your favorite plays are for your like stud guys. Who's your favorite punt? Leave me a comment below. If you like content like this, please like, subscribe, watch, leave me negative comments. I don't care. It helps the algorithm. All right. You can always find me at DFS Army. You can find me in the Discord at DFS Up North, on Twitter at DFS Up North as well. Peace. Have a great week. I hope that you guys make lots of paper this week so that we can have a great Masters next week. It's a national holiday, baby. Let's go. See ya.